Morning. My name is Lauren. If I haven't had the pleasure to meet you before in person or virtually, my name is Lauren, and I'm a health educator with Hokie Wellness here at Virginia Tech. I work mostly with health education programs around employee well-being. So that is why I'm here this morning. So as folks start to come on, I'll just kind of run you through a little bit of what we're going to do today. I know that this space is traditionally maybe more of a space for contemplative practices and things like that, and reflection. And so we're going to do some of that this morning to start with, and then I'll do a little bit of information sharing after that. As I was thinking about what to go through this morning, I just thought I really want to make sure that folks know about the resources that are available to them to support their mental and emotional well-being, even outside of this space on Monday mornings throughout the rest of the week, how to support your family during this time. And so I just wanted to talk about that a little bit this morning. So we'll go ahead and get started. I thought it would be so wonderful to start with gratitude. Just thought it would be kind of a centering, grounding practice to begin our week with. I know that this past year for many, many folks has been maybe a season where gratitude has just looked different. Maybe it's been more challenging. Maybe the things that you're grateful for have looked different. I know that in my own personal day to day, I'm just trying to really hold space for gratitude every single day, to try to get in a good headspace. And so I would love to invite you to do that with me this morning. So what I'd like you to do is, if you have something to write on, maybe grab a piece of paper, something to write with. You can open a Google Doc, a notes thing on your phone, whatever it is. And we are going to take about 2.5 to 3 minutes to just sit and think about things that we're grateful for. No parameters, it can be anything at all. What I'm going to do is, hopefully this works. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a moment and try to share my computer audio with you. We're going to have a nice little song. So hopefully this works. Tell me if you can hear the music. It's kind of, okay, perfect. So we'll have about 3 minutes. Just take some time, think about what you're grateful for, write it down, and then we'll regroup. Okay, so let's regroup. Thank you so much just for taking the time to engage in that gratitude practice. I hope that it was beneficial to your well being this morning. I would love if anyone at all would like to share, is willing to share just one or two of the things that you are grateful for, maybe something that you wrote down. Would anyone like to share? You can do that in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself. Either way is totally fine.
I'm grateful. My name is Christian. I'm grateful for being able to live a healthy lifestyle and having the resources to do that. Yeah,
Wonderful. Yes, what an awesome piece of gratitude. Thank you so much for sharing, Christian.
you're welcome.
Couple of things in the chat. Okay, Samantha for her schedule. The flowers starting to bloom. Absolutely. I'm getting a couple blooms outside my house and it's welcome breath of fresh air. Okay, for being able to fall asleep easily, husband, longer days. Awesome. Anyone else would like to share before we move on?
Hi, Lauren. This is Ashley. So my husband and I are expecting our first child later this summer, and we just found out the other day it's a baby boy, and so far he appears to be healthy and happy. So we're very grateful for that.
That is so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so excited for you. Yes, congratulations. Many congratulations in the chat. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, well, again, thank you all for participating in that. I hope that it got you started off in a good headspace. I'm going to go ahead and dive into the content because I have quite a bit to share with you this morning, but feel free to engage in the chat. I'll try to keep an eye on it, and you can, of course, ask questions, talk to each other there, whatever feels good. Just a quick reminder about why I'm sharing this information with you today. Of course, kind of goes without saying, mental and emotional well-being is more important than ever right now. And specifically, I think it's really important to know how to access the resources that you need to support yourself in a way that is going to be beneficial to you and meet your individual needs. And so, as we go through this content today, I'm going to be sharing some upcoming opportunities that we have to dive a little bit deeper into mental and emotional well-being support, specifically in Hokie Wellness. Remember that there may be some things, some programs, some resources that really resonate with you today and that you feel like you want to engage with after today's program is over. And there might be some that just don't match your needs in this season, and that's okay. Just take whatever you need, and it's okay to leave the rest. Okay, so let's get started. There are many resources that we offer in Hokie Wellness around all areas of well-being. So it would be impossible to share every single one of them. Because of that, I've tried to pull out some of the most important ones that I feel like are most salient during this season. So as we go through, again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat box and I'm happy to answer them. I wanted to start with a little bit of information about flexible work options. So it's something that probably most of us are familiar with because a lot of us are utilizing a telework agreement right now. So if you have a telework agreement that you've used at all over the last year, you have utilized our flexible work options policy. But I wanted to share with you that there are many opportunities for flexible work outside of telework. So things like shifting the hours that you're working to a schedule that is more conducive to work-life balance, shifting your days around if you should need to. So when we think about the flexible work opportunities here at Virginia Tech, asking the question to yourself, what does your ideal work-life balance look like? And how can we help you craft a schedule that really supports that? That's kind of a question to think about when you think about if flexible work options are right for you, even outside the context of telework. We have a lot of folks that utilize these, but sometimes the traditional Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, although it is the traditional work schedule, just doesn't work for folks. And if that's you, or you have any other schedule that just isn't supporting your work-life balance, know that we have a policy in place that can help to support you better. So if it would look better for you to work from 7 to 4 or 9 to 6, Monday through Thursday versus Monday through Friday, any variation of any of those, know that that's usually possible. And our intention is to support you as best we can in work-life balance. So if you'd like to chat about options around your schedule, we're so happy to do that. Just reach out to us. Another thing I wanted to highlight that many folks know about, but some folks don't, is the student list. This is local to Blacksburg at this present time, but something we really would love to grow to other campus areas at some point soon. So what this is a very tangible support resource. Sometimes having your very basic needs met, childcare, pet care, housework, someone to sit with or run errands for an elderly loved one, those very tangible forms of support are so connected to emotional well-being, because when those needs aren't met, it is very stressful. So the student list is a way to meet those tangible needs. We have students at Virginia Tech who have offered up their services, those that I just said and many more, to our employees. And so if you're in need of childcare or pet care or just a day to take care of yourself and be able to leave your kiddos with someone, we have students who are happy to do that. And they do that for a very nominal fee. So if you'd like a copy of this list, all you have to do is email us at hokiewellness@vt.edu and we can send it to you. We just don't post it publicly to protect their information, but they have lots of references and information about their experience and all of that. The next thing is the Employee Assistance Program. So I'm sure many of us have heard about the Employee Assistance Program a lot this year, but I wanted to share that information with you again with a couple of updates. So if you feel that talk therapy, sitting down with a counselor, talking through things is something that could really benefit your emotional well-being, we have opportunities to do that through EAP. And so if you have a health plan through the university, whether that be Anthem, Aetna, Kaiser, Optima, you are eligible to use this benefit, as well as your dependents and anyone who lives in your physical household. And so this is an opportunity to have 4 free counseling sessions for any issue at all that you need it for, as many times a year as you need to use that, as long as the issue is different. So what that means is, if you've already used your 4 free EAP sessions this year, and the issue that you called in for counseling about was financial stress, if you then have an issue that comes up with work-related stress, that's a different issue. So you can use your EAP sessions again this year, as many times as you need to. Let me just check this question in the chat box. Do you have to be a student at Virginia Tech to apply for these programs? Christian, if you don't mind, maybe just give me some clarification on which particular program that you're talking about, whether it's the student list or the EAP, and I'm happy to answer that. In the meantime, if you would like to connect with EAP, all you have to do is call the number associated with your health plan. And so there's some information here about how to connect with your specific EAP plan. And I'll send this out after class, so or after the program, so don't feel like you have to write everything down. Oh, yes. Okay, so if you, it's a good question, are technically employed by something that's not Virginia Tech, I will check and let you know. I'll check back and let you know. I think you can still utilize it, but I'll make sure and check back and send that information to Samantha. Okay. So if you're not a benefited employee by Virginia Tech, if you don't have a health plan, there are still options for you to support your emotional well-being in this way. These are just a few of the options listed on this slide that are specific to the Blacksburg area, but we also work with extended campus location employees to find resources for talk therapy and mental and emotional well-being in their specific areas. So if you're not in Blacksburg, that's okay. Just reach out to us at the email address that Samantha dropped in the chat, which is hokiewellness@vt.edu, and we can help you find support in your area. Okay. And then one thing I forgot to mention, EAP is kind of a specific resource you have to have a health plan through Virginia Tech to be able to utilize EAP. But any of these other programs that we talk about, like the ones on this slide, they're open to everybody. So you do not have to have a health plan through Virginia Tech to use these programs. Really, anybody can come to our programs, even folks in the community who would like to utilize them. So the first one is co-root mindfulness. Some of you may have participated in this program before, but if you haven't, it is a really cool 4-part series that teaches meditation skills to help reduce stress. We have a couple of sessions coming up, and I'll share those with you on the next slide. We also have resiliency classes that are kind of offered publicly facing to Virginia Tech employees, but also if you and your specific team would like to have a resiliency class offered to your team in particular, then we can also do that. So we take individual team program requests. Some of the topics that we talk about in our resiliency classes are how to implement a self-care practice that is beneficial on a long-term basis. We also talk about kind of slowing down in the moment where a stressor is presented and reacting in a way that feels authentic to how you'd like to react. So lots of opportunities to build resiliency. So here are some save the dates. Again, don't feel like you have to write all this down. I'll send it out. But we have a co-root class that is beginning this Wednesday, so 2 days from now, kind of a short notice, but it will run each Wednesday for 4 weeks from 4 to 5:15 p.m. and it'll be a virtual opportunity. There's still some time to sign up for that, so I will also make sure to send out a registration link if you're interested in kind of building some of those mindfulness and meditation skills. If you've already participated in one of our co-root basic classes, then you're eligible to participate in the follow-up program to that, which is co-root 2.0. And so that will be something that is beginning on April the 7th and running each Wednesday till April 21st from 8 to 9:15 a.m. We also have a couple of resiliency workshops coming up. One of those is April the 13th, and that's all about self-care. And one of those is the other class I talked about, which is kind of learning how to slow down and react to stressors rationally in the workplace specifically. That's April 23rd. So again, we'll send out information about all of those if you'd like to register, but I really would encourage you to do so if you have space on your schedule. Some of these skill building opportunities can be super beneficial. All right, I'm going to stop there just for a second and invite questions. We've kind of covered a lot of information so far about what we offer. Any questions I can answer before we move on to this last little section?
Lauren, the folks joining this morning are kind of from all over the state. And so I know you said that that list of student volunteers might be expanding to others. Do you have a timeline on that, or are some of them available like over the summer and it indicates where their home area is or anything like that? Or is that kind of in the future?
I think it is in the future. We have talked about for a while now really wanting to expand that student list out to other areas. And we kind of got started on that with Roanoke for a little while. And then when the pandemic happened, that was all scaled back because our students just weren't available in the way they were before. So we're having upcoming conversations around kind of how we can expand that out and those kind of things. So right now it's pretty much the Blacksburg area, but our students do travel a little bit. So we do have students that will go into places like Roanoke and areas outside of the New River Valley, and they usually indicate that on the list. They've kind of provided that information, but some of the farther areas are going to be conversations that we kind of have to talk through about the best way to do that. Okay, so what other topics do the resiliency workshops cover? So we have the self-care, the reacting rationally, and the one we're working on right now is called Key to Connection. That will hopefully be offered, I think maybe in the summer, and from there forward. It's all about how connection fuels resiliency and how it's so important to be connected to other people in community. So hopefully that'll be soon. And then let's see, can a person who's not an employee still join the resiliency group? Yes. That's definitely possible. So if you do any work with Virginia Tech at all, or you have a connection to Virginia Tech at all, then you can usually join our resiliency classes. We also have them for students and graduate students. So if you work with students and you feel like they would benefit from these opportunities, you can also refer them to us and we can get them connected. But yes, that should be fine. Okay. A few more minutes here, so I'll try to share this information with you quickly, but if anyone has any more questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. I'm happy to answer. I wanted to talk very briefly about caregiving. Um, caregiving stress is definitely not a thing that didn't exist before COVID. It's not just because of COVID, but the pandemic has certainly illuminated and amplified those caregiving related stressors that were already here. And we know that. So, in addition to the emotional support resources and programs that Hokie Wellness offers, the Women's Center is also doing a lot to support caregivers right now. I wanted to make sure I mentioned a couple of their resources. This is just a screen grab from their website, and this is kind of the landing page for caregiving resources. If you visit the website, which I'll provide the link for, there's a couple things. First is a working moms listserv. And so that's just an email list that you can sign up for, and you'll receive resources related to being a working mom in particular. So I would encourage those of you who think that sounds interesting to do that. It's a really great listserv. The other thing I'd like to highlight is the opportunity for caregivers of all kinds to participate in caregiver check-in sessions. And they're a really wonderful way to connect with other folks who understand and get the stressors that are associated with caregiving, whether that's in the context of an aging family member, a partner, children with medical complexities, whatever it is. These check-in sessions can be a really good way to find support. So got a couple dates here for you. The next one will be March 26th at noon, and the topic that they will be covering on that day is the health risks of isolation. And they'll be talking and having some discussion about any apprehensions that folks might have about reintegration as we kind of move into maybe a next phase of this pandemic and how that looks different. On April the 9th at noon, there will be a session about just some ideas for what to do this summer, activities for your kids, things like that. So a couple opportunities to be a part of those support groups still this semester. We also have a plethora of additional caregiving resources for everybody on our website. So again, I'll drop a link to that and the resource I send out after class. We have all kinds of stuff: childcare resources, elder care resources, pet care, you name it, we have provided it. So I shared a lot of stuff with you today. It was a lot of information sharing, and I know that. So it's overwhelming to try to remember all of that. You don't have to, thankfully. You can stay in the loop with our upcoming programs through a couple of ways. The best way is to sign up for our monthly Hokie Wellness email, and that will be an email that comes out at the beginning of each month with all the programs that we're hosting that month. And you can sign up for them right there in the email. The other way is to just kind of keep a check on the Virginia Tech Daily News. If that's something that you subscribe to, our program announcements will always be in there. So just a couple of ways to stay connected to us. Okay, I'm going to open it back up for questions again. And I'm happy to answer anything at all that you might have. Okay, well, I'm going to drop my email in the chat box just in case anyone thinks of any questions about anything I shared today, or just wants someone to chat with or connect with. I'm happy to do that. It's lauren44@vt.edu. But other than that, here's some contact information for our whole team and kind of a snapshot of the support folks that work on our team. If there's no questions that anyone has, I will let you all go for the day, but I just really, really appreciate each person showing up today and being present for this time and just taking some time to learn how to support your emotional well-being well. Thank you so much.